All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the DSFL and ISFL Season 27 Award Show. We got a great show for you guys tonight. A lot of really cool awards are going out, so kick back, relax, and we'll get things started. I'd like to introduce you all to my dais, my panel of fellow hosts here, starting off with Arcs.
Hey everybody, I'm Arcs, co-head of the awards committee. So if your player is not nominated or someone from your team is not nominated, send your hate my way because I'm responsible.
I am Katarn. Oh, sorry, I skipped Faded. You go, Faded.
Dang it, Katarn. All right. Hi, I'm Faded. I am part of DSFL HO. I'm Nicholas Ayers, a running back on Honolulu Hahalua, and I'm happy to be here.
Okay. I am Katarn. I am one of the co-GMs of the DSFL London Royals. This is my second award stream, and I'm also very happy to be back.
I am Kotasa. I am co-cult leader of Tijuana Luchadors, and I'm Rich Triplett on the Arizona Outlaws.
I'm Sid, the GM of Honolulu. My player is Jim Waters, also on Honolulu, who did not get nominated for anything this season.
Hey guys, I'm Zan. I'm the GM of the New York Silverbacks. My player is Bob Roberts, and he also did not get nominated for a single award.
All right, and I am Whatamus, and I have already started drinking. Okay, so without further ado, let's get things started. So our first award on the board is going to be Returner of the Year, with Joseph Radetsky, Bailey Cowabunga, Buck Naked, and Madison Hayes. Gentlemen, what do we have to say about these?
So I think Returner of the Year always comes down to looking at either someone who really excels at one aspect of returning, which is Bailey Cowabunga, or somebody who does really well at both, which I think is Radetsky. So it'll be interesting to see which way the GMs decide to go.
And with that, the awards committee also really likes touchdowns, and so does DSFL GMs and ISFL GMs. So it's notable to point out Bailey Cowabunga with 1 touchdown and Madison Hayes with 1 touchdown.
Hayes also had a little bit of versatility since they did kick returns and punt returns, where I know some Bailey only did kick returns.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good. So without further ado, drum roll, please. There we go. I was waiting for that. Thank you. All right. Our returner of the year for the DSFL is going to be Madison Hayes.
Congratulations, Madison Hayes.
Let's get some claps in the chat. Little claps. Little clap action. Very cool. Yeah. Any surprises here?
Not really. I think that touchdown and her versatility both in kick return and punt return really propelled her to get the award for the season, so good job.
I think that some might be a little bit surprised since the average on kick returns was a little low, lowest among the nominees, but I think that the versatility on the punt return and the touchdown really helped a lot.
Yeah, I agree. I think it'd be interesting to see if Radetsky had a touchdown on the year. I think this would have been a closer vote than it was, but congratulations to Madison Hayes.
Absolutely, congratulations are in order. All right, we move on now to my favorite award, the DSFL Punter of the Year. We got Dallas Dole, Gluteus Maximus, Armando Galagara, and Rainbow Dash. What are we thinking, boys?
So this one's pretty even, I think, between a few of these folks. Galarraga and Rainbow Dash, I feel like, are kind of leading the way. But I think Gluteus Maximus could surprise with that pretty high average that he has, 43.2 on punt returns.
And he also leads this group. Sorry, you can go on.
I was going to say what you're going to say. Leads inside the 20 punts, off of less punts, too, which I think is impressive than the other two guys.
Longest punt as well.
Yeah, that's why I think it's probably going to end up going to Gluteus Maximus, just because he's got that into 20, locked down basically by a few of those.
All right, so without further ado then, your Season 27 DSFL Punter of the Year is Gluteus Maximus. Claps in the chat.
What a render.
That is a glorious render.
Absolutely. And speaking of renders, I wanted to point out that the renders done for the DSFL awards were all done by Connor, and we'll see them later. The ISFL renders were all done by Moosey. So big ups to them. Thank you very much. Yeah, Gluteus Maximus here.
Yeah, kind of unsurprising. He didn't have as many punts as a few of the other people, but when he was on the field, he's pretty dominant. So I don't think it was too hard of a pick.
Yeah, solid season all around.
Absolutely. All right, in the same vein, we're going to move on to DSFL Kicker of the Year. At the top, we got Rainbow Dash, Armando Gallegara, K. York, Dallas Dole, and Gluteus Maximus. What are we thinking here?
So with this award, I personally believe that this may go to Armando Galarraga, because at this point he has the best extra point completion percentage and the best field goal completion percentage. And while that long is the lowest among this group, he proves to be an efficient kicker regardless.
Yeah, I think Dallas could be in contention there just based upon having the longer kick and right around the same field goal percentage. But, he only went 91% on his extra points, and that's going to hurt him.
I think Dallas...
excuse me. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, I think Dallas still having all those extra points and still being pretty efficient from there is solid.
All right, well, let's find out who's right and who's wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, your Season 27 DSFL Kicker of the Year, Armando Galarraga.
Great season for him.
Armando Galarraga, my man from the Kansas City Coyotes.
Yeah, just super solid, really consistent on extra points and field goals. Hard to beat that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was definitely a big reason the Coyotes got back to the playoffs this season for sure.
Someone in the chat said, that's a baseball player, though.
That is a baseball player.
That's how talented he is.
Exactly. All right, moving right along like a well-oiled machine, we're going to hit the safety of the year. Your nominees are Evan Jones, Sparky Boom Man, Tim Solja, and Kelvin Harris. What are we thinking here?
So going back to what I said about returner of the year, how touchdowns are important. In this group of people, there are two people that have touchdowns, and that is Evan Jones and Tim Solja. So unfortunately, that might knock out the other two just because of the way that people vote, but it's important to note Sparky Boom Man is leading this group with 78 tackles, and yeah, good for him.
Yeah, I think safety this season, with the new sim and everyone adjusting, has led to, I think, safeties dealing with some different stats here. But I think it's gonna be tough to beat Tim Solja. He was second in tackles among the group. As mentioned, he had the defensive touchdown, pretty solid sack and interception numbers. He basically did everything you want from a safety.
All right. Oh, we got one more point to make.
I was just going to say that I think he has only 4 missed tackles from what it seems, which is pretty low compared to the rest, I think.
Ooh, interesting. All right, then. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, your safety of the year. The man with the best render in the game, Tim Solja.
That's a great render.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's
Shadow
one render.
Maybe not the best
You gotta
render, but
appreciate
it's
that. You gotta
definitely,
appreciate that.
definitely up there. Very cool.
I mean, solid all-around season from the guy. I think that you could argue Kevin Harris, but the extra 17 tackles doesn't hurt.
Absolutely. Alrighty. So moving right along, we come to cornerback of the year. Your nominees are Lawrence Miller, Siege Cameron, Buck Naked, CJ Sonjak, and James Gath. What are we thinking?
Well, just based on a first look at the stats, I would have to say the favorite is probably CJ Sonjak, just because he's got the most interceptions plus 27 pass deflections, which is pretty insane for a DSFL player.
Yeah, Buck was really leading the team in the league with interceptions, and then I feel like CJ Sonjak just kind of came out of nowhere. Buck's 16 tackles hurts a little bit, but I think he should be in consideration.
But it's also important to shout out James Gath, who leads this group with 93 tackles, and he also has a safety to his name. So good for him.
And Siege Cameron is just an all-around great player and great person. And as the Kansas City GM, I'm very happy to see him here in his first season. So, without further ado, your DSFL cornerback of the year is CJ Soundjack.
Yeah,
Very
I think
proud.
it's impressive. You know, he only had 3 missed tackles on the year. He had the defensive touchdown. So while his tackle numbers weren't the same as the other folks, you know, he was just dominant at breaking up the pass and taking the ball away from the other team.
Yeah. Fun fact, all 7 of CJ Sunjack's interceptions on the season came in multi-interception games. He had 2 interceptions, and 3 interceptions.
He had 3 interceptions in one game. What?
Yes, as we will see later. Spoilers.
Okay, cool.
Okay, all right. So we move on now to your linebacker of the year for the DSFL in season 27. Your nominees are DeAndre Chuggs, Donald McBobby, Devontae Crook, Logan Saracen, and Duke Cheeks. Fellas, what are we thinking?
So this is an interesting group in that there's no, unless I'm missing something, I don't see any defensive touchdowns for this group, and usually that's kind of one of our big indicators. So this could really go any number of ways depending upon how the voters decided to weigh turnovers versus sacks and whatnot. I think my money's on Chuggs, but I could see this going anywhere.
Yeah, at this point, you have to look all around at every single stat from all these players. And things to note, Logan Sorensen is leading this group with 118 tackles. Donald McBobby is leading this group with 5 sacks and also 9 pass deflections, and also with 2 interceptions. So overall efficiency from McBobby.
Crook is leading by 10 in tackles for loss, so it's not really close there, but did have 19 missed on the season. So,
Yeah, linebacker is always kind of anyone's game, depending on how the voters are feeling about certain stats. Like, I would probably put McBobby a little bit higher just due to those interceptions, but it's anyone's really call right here. All 5 of them are pretty solid nominees.
They are solid, and they are nominees. So, ladies and gentlemen, your linebacker of the year for the DSFL, Devontae Crook.
Yeah, no major surprises there with those 21 TFLs. Overall, good season from him.
Yeah, I'm sure they're real happy down in Tijuana right now. Really, really solid by Crook. Kind of led our defense in everything. So very happy for them.
Absolutely. Congratulations, Devontae Crook. Next up, we have Defensive Tackle of the Year. Your nominees are Carter Fox, Daniel O'Leary, Primoberto, and Professor Godfrey Gravity. Gentlemen, what are we thinking?
So out of these 4 gentlemen, Gravity immediately jumps out at me because in this group he has the most tackles with 76 and the most sacks with 7 sacks. He also does have a safety with Carter Fox. So, yeah.
Primo Berto actually has the most sacks with 12, unless the stat sheet's wrong. But
no, I just can't see. You're fine.
No, speaking on Primo Berto for a second, I could be wrong, but I think he's the only person in this list that actually bought a trait in the DSFL, like for his player, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So that could be the reason for those high sack totals. But it's interesting to see how that'll play into the voting.
Yeah, I personally think just due to that large amount of sacks comparatively, like he has about 5 more sacks than the next guy. I think Berto should take this pretty easily, but at the same time, Godfrey had a pretty insane season too with those tackles. So I think those 2 are the main 2 up for this award right now.
Personally, I'd rather have 50 tackles than 5 sacks. That's just me, though.
Well, let's see what the awards committee decided. Ladies and gentlemen, your Defensive Tackle of the Year is the Professor Godfrey Gravity.
That is an incredible render.
God, that's fantastic.
Yeah, that's a powerful render.
Oh, that's sick, dude.
That's a great artwork on that, too.
Super.
Wait, who designed these renders again?
So for the DSFL, it was Connor.
Okay.
And for the ISFL, it was Moosey.
All right. Shout outs to Connor because this looks incredible.
It's very clean, isn't it? Very good. I am stoked about this one. This is user Zoram, who is just an absolute powerhouse in Kansas City. Just, overall, great user and a great player. So, yeah, congratulations, Zoram. Very cool. All right, moving on. More defense. We're looking at defensive end of the year. Your nominees are Glenn Smart, Pope Francis, and Bean Man. Fellas, what are we thinking?
I
So
think
that's
Oh, go ahead.
So a pretty dominant season by Bean Man here. He leads the group in tackles. He's tied with all of them for TFLs. The missed tackles aren't too bad. He had right there with the turnovers. So, I think it's going to be tough to top Bean Man here.
Also, he has 17 sacks.
Yeah,
which is insane.
that's kind of how I feel too. Like Glenn Smart and Pope Francis both had pretty amazing seasons, but Beanman was like on another level this year. So.
Yeah. Beanman was certainly a problem for other teams across the season. But I feel like it's sacrilegious to go against Pope Francis here. So.
Well, sacrilege or not, we're going to find out the defensive end of the year. Ladies and gentlemen, your defensive end of the year, Bean Man. Congratulations.
Yeah, no real surprises here. He just had an insane season, and he was going to do great in the ISFL.
Fantastic. All right, without further ado, my favorite award, second favorite award behind Punter of the Year. Offensive Lineman of the Year. Your nominees are Cheese Farley, Stumpy Jones, Dunkin' Donuts, and Mateers Ricochet. I hope I said that right. Boys, what are we thinking?
Well, looking at the list, I think it depends on what the GMs valued, pancakes versus sacks allowed. Maters had no sacks allowed, but had less pancakes than the other two, but by about 10. So it's not super close, but
I know it doesn't say it on the stat sheet, but I think Ricochet had the fewest penalties. I don't know the numbers in front of me, but I think I looked at this and it was by a significant amount. So then it comes down to, what's more valuable, the more pancakes or the fewer penalties.
Well, I mean, in this case, you really can go, kind of middle of the road because while Mateers Ricochet he had 0 sacks allowed throughout the entire season. He only had 58 pancakes. However, Stumpy Jones had 67 pancakes, which leads this group, but unfortunately, he allowed a sack. So.
Yeah, I agree with Faded here. Basically, this 1 sack allowed shouldn't probably take him out of this running. And I think 10 plus pancakes that he has is probably, or is it 9? I can't count. It's probably going to give him the edge.
All right, we're going to find out right now. Ladies and gentlemen, your offensive lineman of the year for the DSFL, Stumpy Jones.
Another great render.
Fantastic.
I love that render.
Yeah, so I think this is just a case of, Stumpy having enough pancakes to, even though he gave up a sack, like his pancake numbers were just so strong that won him the day.
It's hard to beat a tree on the offensive line unless you have a chainsaw or something.
Mm-hmm.
I know what my recreate's going to be. Thank you.
All right, moving right along. We got the tight end of the year. Your nominees are Borgo San Lorenzo, Bobby Tarantino, Makoa Mahiai, and Ow My Back. Did I say Makoa Mahiai right?
Pretty close, yeah.
Mahiai.
Oh, Macau Mahiai. Yeah. Anyways.
And Ow My Back.
So Borgo here has far and away the best receiving stats out of anybody on this list, but he is beaten out when it comes to the pancake numbers. And you got to remember that it's a little bit of both when it comes to the tight end of the year. So we'll have to see if his receiving numbers, which are basically 2x of everybody else, is enough.
Yeah, I was going to make that point. In this situation, as a GM, you kind of have to think what matters more, technically, or in quotation marks, what matters more, the pancakes or the receiving yards. In this case, I'm leaning towards Borgo San Lorenzo because, like what someone else said, sorry, he did have double the receiving yards from everybody else in this group, but he does sort of lack when it comes to pancakes as he is third in this group. Actually, no, he's last in this group. But we'll just have to see how the voters go.
Yeah, and also I'd like to give a shout out to Bobby Tarantino. 32 pancakes is like significantly more. It's like 10 more than the second best person. So if the GMs tend to go that way, I wouldn't be surprised, but I got to go San Lorenzo here.
Let's find out if our suspicions are true. Ladies and gentlemen, the tight end of the year for the DSFL, Borgo San Lorenzo.
Yeah, that's very well deserved. I was going to say most receiving yards, most receptions, highest average, just all around good season.
Fantastic.
It's not like he didn't have any pancakes or anything. He still had 18, which is still solid.
And we do be loving pancakes. That's the truth. All right, DSFL wide receiver of the year. Your nominees are Quavius McGrady, Chunt the Badger, Luke Quick, Mike Hunt, and Saline Spence. What are we thinking?
I think it's got to be Chunt the Badger here, right? About 200 more yards than everybody else. And only one touchdown behind Quavius, so.
I mean, that's fair. Chunt also leads in drops of the team. So, there's always the question of, was he the best receiver or was he just the guy who's fed the ball the most?
Yeah, you also have to point out the fact that he does have the worst average amongst this group with 12.7, with Quavius McGrady also having the highest, Salem Spence with Luke Quick, I can't read, with the highest average here with 16.8.
I still think it's probably Chunt's to lose here, just because that number 14 or 100, 400, I can't do numbers apparently, but significantly more yards than the next person and still 10 touchdowns is pretty insane, especially for a rookie wide receiver. So I got to go Chunt here.
Alrighty, without further ado, your wide receiver of the year for season 27 is Chunt the Badger. Any surprises here?
Not really. I mean, he does have the best yards in this group, but yeah, good for him. Great season.
Absolutely. Alrighty, we're going to move on.
What a great render, too. What a goofy render there.
Yeah. Gotta point out the render.
That makes me smile.
These have been some great renders so far. I'm really happy with this.
Oh, it's great. All right. Running back of the year for DSFL season 27. Your nominees are Giovanni Bianchi, Remus Roman, Madison Hayes, and Drip Dad. What are we thinking?
So Madison Hayes leads this group with over 1,200 yards on the ground. However, in the touchdown department, he is middle of the road compared to other people like Giovanni Bianchi.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I think Drip Dad could be a sneaky pick here. He doesn't have the same rushing yards as the other folks here, but he's got the 5.5 average and over 560 yards receiving. So he might sneak in.
He also has the best first down percentage of all these backs.
Well, we all know Portland's running game was insane this year. I could definitely attest to that after Giovanni Bianchi put up 3 touchdowns on 5 runs against us in the regular season.
And over the course of the year, Bianchi has also put up 14 touchdowns, which is the leader in this group.
I mean, the fact that they have 2 running backs on the same team on this list just kind of shows how insane their offense was this year.
Yeah, they both had a combined 24 touchdowns this season, which is insane.
Yeah, absolutely filthy. All right, dirty. Without further ado, your DSFL running back of the year is Giovanni Bianchi. Something. Yeah.
Something Italian.
Very interesting. I like it.
Well, leading the group in touchdowns and even got one in the air. I think it's well deserved.
Yeah, he's probably the most balanced back on this list, all things considered.
Shout out to Portland for having two backs on this list too. Again, testament to the good season they had.
Absolutely. Shout outs to them. All right. We move on to quarterback of the year. Your nominees are Troy Abed. Troy and Abed throwing touchdowns. Joliet Christ Jr. and LeBron James III. So only 3 here. What are we thinking?
Why did we allow the Kansas City Homer to host the show?
Well, I'll respect to Troy Abed, but I think right now this is a 2-horse race between LeBron James and Christ Jr. They both had like above 90 QBR, so it's going to be tough what the voters decide on. But I think it's going to be come down to one of those two.
I may give it to LeBron James here because he does have the most receiving yards in this group and the most passing yards in this group and the highest QBR. So while I do think it could potentially go to Joliet Christ Jr., this may go to LeBron James here.
Let's find out. Oops, excuse me.
I just said I think the interception for Christ at the end might cost him this award, but they both had pretty insane seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. A lot of great stuff going on with these DSFL quarterbacks. So your quarterback of the year for the DSFL season 27 is LeBron James III. Congratulations.
I just got to give a shout out to my guy here. I brought LeBron James in the league, and he's been absolutely killing it at the DSFL level, so I'm very happy for him.
Yeah, did he win this last year too?
Yeah, he's going to.
He won MVP too.
He won MVP, so
wow,
he's continuing his craziness.
Yeah.
I just want to say that if you remove the context of a simulation football league, comparing LeBron James to Christ Jr. is absurd. But anyways.
Oh, that's great.
Let's just ignore that.
We'll move on to Offensive Rookie of the Year. Your nominees are Remus Roman, Chunt the Badger, Salim Spence, Troy Abed, throwing touchdowns, and Manhattan Project. What are we thinking?
A little surprised that Luke Quick didn't make the list. I will say that, but
me too.
There's a lot of good nominees. I think that Troy Abed definitely has a case for this award because that's pretty efficient season. 3,000 yards as a rookie in the DSFL is not easy to do.
I think it's probably going to end up going to Chunt the Badger just because as a rookie won their positional award. So that's kind of hard to top there for all the others, even though they all had amazing rookie seasons.
Also, shout out to Manhattan Project for making an appearance on awards night.
Absolutely.
So good for him.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, your Offensive Rookie of the Year for season 27 is Chunt the Badger. Congratulations.
No real surprises here. He just had an insane season.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally. Very good. All right, we move on. Defensive Rookie of the Year. Your nominees are Tim Solja, Professor Godfrey Gravity, Glenn Smart, Siege Cameron, and CJ Sonjak. What are we thinking?
It's tough. I'm leaning CJ Sonjak here just because of how many interceptions and pass defenses he has, but I'm also a cornerback homer, so I love cornerbacks.
Yeah, and if we're going to keep going back to the touchdown thing, CJ Sonjak not only leads this group, I believe, with 7 interceptions, he also has a touchdown on the year. So this could propel him to get even more hardware this season.
Yeah, obviously everyone had a pretty solid rookie season, but Sonjak's interceptions is pretty insane, especially for a rookie cornerback, and he brought him cornerback of the year already, so I feel like it's probably going to end up being him.
I think it's a tough comparison to make between secondary players versus defensive line players, obviously because different stats get prioritized. I'm obviously a little biased being the London GM, but I don't think we should overlook Glenn Smart's 13 TFLs, which, doesn't lead the group, but it's pretty good, along with his 13 sacks.
Alrighty. Ladies and gentlemen, your Defensive Rookie of the Year, CJ Sonjak. Congratulations.
Was that like Big Ben?
Yeah.
Pretty great for the Royals player.
I like that. Yeah, he just had an insane season. You know, he's been phenomenal for the Royals. I really can't say enough good things about him. So this is very well deserved.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. The award I've been dreading the most. Offensive Performance of the Year. Your nominees are Madison Hayes from Week 6, Chunt the Badger from Week 14, Remus Roman from Week 8, and Joliet Christ Jr. from Week 12. What are we thinking?
Good Lord. How many yards did Remus Roman get?
On 5 carries, 270 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
The fact that, yeah, I agree there too. Roman has to take this, in my opinion, just based on 53 yards average for a game and 3 touchdowns. That's like broken numbers, man.
I would like to give a shout out to Joliet Christ. 70% completion, 205, and 3 touchdowns in a game is nothing to sneeze at, you know.
Yeah, that's filthy.
But I think we all know who's going to get this.
Yeah, it's an easy one.
All right. Without further ado, your offensive performance of the year is Remus Roman in Week 8. And it hurts. It stings. Say it with me, chat. Sim broke.
Sim machine broke.
Yeah, I don't think anything more can really be said about this. Congratulations, Remus Roman. Hell of a game. Hell of a game. We move on to the defensive performance of the year. Your nominees are Evan Jones from Week 11, Pope Francis from Week 10, Juno Hu from Week 9, CJ Sonjak from Week 11, and Luke Watterson from Week 8. What are we thinking?
I love Luke Watterson's blocked punt. I think that's awesome.
We got to shout out Sonjak's 3 interception game from Week
We
11.
mentioned that earlier, definitely. But
Pretty crazy.
3 interceptions in one game, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Juno,
crazy
who did
enough?
have a touchdown for his, and that touchdown also won Tijuana that game against London. So that's something to look for too.
And he also had 2 interceptions in that game too.
I'd also like to point out Evan Jones just had such a balanced performance. A sack, a tackle for loss, 2 forced fumbles, both recovered by him, and then just 5 extra tackles on top of that. That's pretty great for our safety, just all over the field.
All right, let's find out who was most impressive in their defensive performance of the year. The award goes to CJ Sonjak from his Week 11 performance. Congratulations.
His 3rd piece of hardware for tonight?
Is that the first time we've seen a defensive player win an award that didn't involve a defensive touchdown?
Could be.
Maybe.
We'd have to ask someone on the wiki about that.
Absolutely.
I'll get on it.
All right, moving on. General Managers of the Year. Your nominees are Guitar Master 116 and Tomsy, RBD Southpaw and Ziegel 1, Russ Drives the Bus and the CC, Frasley 14 and Witamus, Rotsbua and Kai Emprak. What are we thinking here, gentlemen?
So Frasley and Watamas obviously gets some points for some creative names, and then also, their performance in the season. But, I got to shout out my boys Southpaw and Ziegel for how good that team was. And, sometimes the sim gonna sim, but, they put together a great roster.
Yeah, and also mentioned that Rots and Kia took their team to an Ultimacy. So good for them.
Yeah, I think obviously everyone here, I think it was a pretty amazing development season in general. I think the Dallas did a great job winning their first ever Ultimini, and also Kansas City also made it. They're pretty big underdogs to even make the playoffs, and then they made it, and then they made it all the way to the end. So yeah.
Yeah, there's no wrong answer here. Just a fantastic group of people all around, and yeah, it was a great season. except for that Frasley and Wutiemos. They're terrible. Anyways, general managers of the year. The winners are Frazzle14 and Whatamus. Congratulations to Just Frazzle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard the other one's
Congratulations
kind of.
to you.
I heard the other one's kind of a piece of work. So
That was
Just a-
famous guy.
Just real garbage can of a person.
Yeah. Anyway.
And I heard he drinks too much.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, congrats to all the nominees. And yeah, I really appreciate this. You know, it's been a fantastic kind of first full year working with everybody. And yeah, Frazzle's my boy, my Scottish brother from another mother. And working with him this season, taking the team from 2-7 to an Ultimate appearance was just a hell of a ride. And yeah, I appreciate all the support from everybody.
Yeah, that's one hell of an accomplishment. You guys should be very proud about that, seriously.
But at the same time, Sim broke. So
The machine broke, yeah.
Sim machine broke. All right, we move on to the Season 27 DSFL Offensive Player of the Year. Your nominees are Giovanni Bianchi, Madison Hayes, Joliet Christ Jr., LeBron James III, and Chunt the Badger. What are we thinking?
I will say the only reason that LeBron James III might not win this award is because he may win MVP. So while he did have an incredible season, this may go to Chunt the Badger here. Just because of his insane wide receiver stats that we mentioned earlier.
Absolutely. All right, without further ado, Offensive Player of the Year is Giovanni Bianchi with the Amendola render. Gotta love it. Congratulations.
Gotta love it.
You
Good
know,
job, Bianchi.
led the group in touchdowns. In terms of a skill position player, I don't think it's that surprising that he took home this.
Another Portland player as well. They've kind of had a lot of people up for awards today,
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Well-deserved awards.
yeah, they had a really good group these last couple seasons.
All right, moving on. Your Defensive Player of the Year. Nominees are Glenn Smart, Logan Saracen, CJ Sonjak, Bean Man, and Siege Cameron. What are we thinking here, fellas?
It's Royals.
Shout out to London.
Shout out to London. I think he's going to get the three award sweep. I think CJ Sonjak, it's his to lose. You know, and none of these other corners beat him. The Defensive Rookie of the Year, Glenn Smart didn't beat him. Bean Man could get it with the 17 sacks, but I honestly think it's CJ Sonjak here.
Yeah, I think it's probably Sanjak too. But Beanman's 17 sacks was insane. So I would not be surprised if he ended up edging Sanjak out for this award.
All right, and let's see if he did end up edging. Defensive Player of the Year goes to Bean Man. Congratulations, Bean.
That 17
Right.
sacks really helped him out there.
Very cool, very cool. All right, moving right along. Your most dedicated member in the DSFL for Season 27. The nominees are Pib, Dude Man, Zoram, and Grag9. Who are we thinking here?
So I just want to say that Greg has basically been everywhere in this league from what I've seen. I just see him constantly in the general server. I assume that he's very active in as many servers as he can be in. So I'm personally really happy that we have a guy like him starting out in the DSFL, and I feel like that he's going to do great once he starts getting more jobs under his belt. And yeah, shout outs to Greg.
Speaking of jobs, Dude Man actually already has one and is our new DSFL head simmer. And I'm very proud of him for what he's done since he joined the league.
And I gotta shout out my boy Zoram here. First season in the DSFL. He's already in the war room. You know, he's been a huge help this season so far, and just a great guy, great user, and great player for the team. So, yeah.
I gotta echo those sentiments for Pib before we move on. Warm room, rookie, already has a league job, just an awesome guy all around, really.
Absolutely. We love these users, but which user do we love the most? Ladies and gentlemen, your most dedicated member for DSFL is... What's this? It's two?
A tie.
It's
A
a tie.
tie.
I demand a recount.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a tie. It's Greg9 and Pib.
Well, I mean, I guess that just goes to show how great these two users have done for this league so far that no one can decide which one is better.
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
was gonna say I've seen Greg all over, like you guys were saying before, and he's done some impressive stuff.
Very cool. Congratulations to you two, and we earnestly look forward to the rest of your DSFL and ISFL careers. Thanks for being with us. All right, finally for the DSFL, we have your most valuable player, your MVP. Nominees are Madison Hayes, Joliet Christ Jr., LeBron James III, Bean Man, and Chunt the Badger. Who are we thinking?
I mean, I said this when we were talking about Offensive Player of the Year, that if LeBron James doesn't get Offensive Player of the Year, he's going to get MVP. And I'm still going to stick to that prediction.
Yeah, I think I agree there. I also want to shout out Chunt for being a wide receiver, and then also Bean for being the only defensive player on this list.
Yeah, and also I feel bad because he might not end up bringing home any awards, but Christ Jr. had such an insane season too. It's just unfortunate that it seems like the voters kind of lean towards LeBron James this time, so he ends up going home empty. Despite, I guess he got the ultimate, so that's all that really matters. So
yeah, shout outs to AW13 on that.
Absolutely. Sometimes the W is all you need.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, let's see who we got for your league MVP. Ladies and gentlemen, big round of applause and congratulations to LeBron James III.
What's this? His second straight MVP? Hello?
It is. I actually just sent him a text message.
Very impressive by him, seriously.
Yeah, he's been insane for Portland. That was a really, really good draft choice by them, going with him, and he's been absolutely nuts for them.
Totally. Yeah, I'd love to see it. Congratulations, LeBron James III. All right.
Mm-hmm. Really proud of him.
It's time. We move on to some ISFL action. We start off, of course, with your returner of the year. Nominees are Desmond Scarlett, Jackson Kingston, Matt Krause, and Kai Sakura. What are we thinking here?
This has to be Jackson Kingston. He's got 2 punt return touchdowns. That's more than anyone else. Davey's my boy, so I really hope he wins this one.
I'm going to agree. Davey calls me a lot on Discord, and I don't appreciate that, but I do appreciate what he's been able to do in the return game, and he definitely deserves this one.
All right, let's see who it is. Ladies and gentlemen, your returner of the year for the ISFL Season 27. It's Jackson Kingston. Congratulations.
And that's not taken away. Other guys had good seasons, but getting those 2 touchdowns, and he had really good averages in terms of kick return and punt return. It's just, just a great season.
Shout out to Sakura for also getting a touchdown on the year. And Desmond Scarlett as well.
Absolutely. All right, in the same vein, we have punter of the year. Your nominees are Sam Sidekick, Dougie Smalls, Matthew McDermott, and Jacob Small. What are we thinking?
Small does leads the nominees in inside 20 punts, which is pretty big. I think he has 48 inside 20s if I'm looking at this right. So that's pretty good number for his punts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's Jacob Smalls to lose here. He has almost 10 more than the next best inside 20 punter. So I think it's pretty obvious that he's probably going to end up taking this home.
All right, let's see if that's true. Ladies and gentlemen, your punter of the year for the ISFL, Jacob Small.
Good for him.
Great
Really
render.
efficient season from him.
Yeah, I gotta say that great season for him. Obviously, his punting helped the Sailfish to where they ended the season.
All right, and where you have punters, you also have kickers. Your ISFL Kicker of the Year nominees are Danny King, Jacob Small, Jake Fennick, and Sam Sidekick. What are we thinking?
So I think it might be Jake here from Philly. He's one of the only guys who has missed extra points, which could go against him. But he, kicked at a 97% for the field goals, had a pretty decent long, went 5 for 5 from 50 plus. That's just a pretty good resume.
Mm-hmm. And shoutouts to Danny King, Sam's sidekick, and Matthew McDermott for going 100% on their extra points for this season.
Just as we were saying, it was Jacob Smalls to lose for punter of the year. I think it's Fen Kicks to lose for kicker of the year.
Yeah,
I'm just realizing I said his name wrong.
Yeah, I think the perfect from 50 is kind of going to give him the edge here. That's pretty great for a kicker.
All right. Which kicker took it home, though? Your kicker of the year in the ISFL for season 27, Jake Fensick. Fensick. Jake, congratulations.
Yeah, he had an awesome season, just easily. I mean, there's nothing else that needs to be said. Perfect beyond 50 is impressive.
Absolutely. All right, we move on to safety of the year. Your nominees are Maverick Bowie, Cuco Clemente, Sean Dawkins, and Joel Drake. Who is it?
Shoutouts to Russ for making that sweet hype-up video for this award, by the way.
That was awesome. That was super cool.
Yeah. And speaking of Russ, I think this may be going to him this season because he did have a pretty efficient season. He did snag 6 balls out of the year, so 6 interceptions to his name, and also a defensive touchdown to his name. So voters may look at that and take him here.
Yeah, obviously Drake had a pretty insane season, but I'll just shout out Cuco Clemente. He also had he only had 1 interception, but he took it for a touchdown. The thing that stands out for him is his 7 sacks, which is higher than the rest of these guys. So obviously, I feel like interceptions usually get valued more, so I think Drake's probably got this.
Well, let's see. Ladies and gentlemen, your safety of the year, Joel Drake. Congratulations.
I wished him luck on Twitter, so I'm glad that he won.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
The Yeti secondary were very impressive this season, and Joel Drake was a big part of that.
Absolutely. All right, we got your cornerbacks of the year in the ISFL. Your nominees are Colt Mendoza, Harrison Andrews, Rich Triplett, Andrew Witten, and Osiris Firestorm Fjord. What are we thinking?
So I kind of like Witten here, to be honest. He had great tackle numbers. I think he led this category in tackles, 120, 4 forced fumbles, 7 interceptions, so generating a lot of takeaways. The knock against him is that he had 68% catch rate, as opposed to Triplett, the lowest in this category, with a 62% catch rate. And so we'll have to see if that hurts him.
Yeah, I still think it's Witten's. I think you can make an argument for a Firestorm with the defensive touchdown, and he had a lower target or passes allowed, but I think it's Witten's to win here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's see who takes it. Your cornerback of the year for the ISFL is Andrew Witten. Congratulations.
Big shout out to Myth.
Yeah. Didn't he I think he really wanted this award because he came so close to it last year. So
yeah. He's been gunning for it for a while. Myth is one of the guys who brought me in the league, so he definitely deserves this. So amazing season by him. So big shout out.
Absolutely. You love to see it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, your linebacker of the year nominees are Melvin Murdermoose, Juan Domin, and Rusty Rucker. What are we thinking?
I think in this case, Melvin Murdermoose has the most sexy stats here with 19 sacks, 2 interceptions, and the only defensive touchdown out of this group. So that may pull her ahead in this case.
She also did not miss a tackle on the season.
That is crazy. Let's see if it was enough to net the award. Your linebacker of the year is Melvin Murdermoose.
Another great render.
Yeah, that's a great render by Moosey here.
Very cool. Oh, yeah. God, that's fantastic. All right. Your defensive tackle of the year nominees are Chuck Roth, Big Ed, Leon McDavid, and Magnus Riccia. What are we thinking?
I'm thinking Big Ed is somehow on the ballot every year somehow.
It's because he's good. I mean, especially when you look at his numbers from this season, where he broke the most tackles out of this group with 74 tackles and tied for the most sacks out of this group with 8 sacks. However, it's important to know how Chuck Roth did get a safety this season, and it's the only safety that this group got.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a bit closer than Ed's come the last couple times, but I feel like he still edges out over Chuck Roth here just because of the forced fumbles too. The forced fumbles. That's what I meant.
All right, well, let's see who got it. Ladies and gentlemen, your defensive tackle of the year is Big Ed. Great.
Shout outs to Ed. He really wanted this again, and I think he's going to keep getting it because he's just somehow really, really good at defensive tackle.
Is this his third or fourth?
This is his third, I think.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very, very cool. All right, we got your defensive end of the year. Nominees are, oh my god, Kyo Kane Maikai. Was I anywhere close? Doesn't matter.
I think you were pretty close enough.
Medicinal Toblerone, Raylan Crowder, and Son Goku.
I think those drinks are starting to talk.
You guys are killing me. What are we thinking?
I do want to give a big shout out to Raylan Crowder. Does lead this list in tackles for loss and fumble recoveries and second in sacks. But I'm not even going to try and
just say KKM. Just say KKM.
KKM had a great season leading the group in sacks and tackles for loss and second in tackles.
Yeah, shout out to Gucci for switching from running back, and he was like doing really good just straight off the bat.
For real.
All right.
Yeah, I agree. It's probably KKM here.
Who's going to take it? Ladies and gentlemen, your defensive end of the year is KKM. Congratulations.
I am really happy for Gucci, actually. He put up some really good numbers this year.
Awesome. You'll love to see it. Great render, too. All right. Your ISFL Offensive Lineman of the Year nominees are JQ, Adam Mellett, Bruce Buckley, and Sim Tremblay. Who's going to be?
I think they meant Simon Tremblay.
I believe so, too.
Tremblay. But Tremblay had the most pancakes. He also had 3 sacks allowed. So I kind of default to Bruce Buckley here with 117 pancakes, 0 sacks allowed on the team. Or maybe Mellett. He's got it right around the same amount. So it could be a case where they split votes and someone else.
Yeah, I was going to say Adam Mellett has the most pancakes without a sack, which is 118 pancakes. So this could either go to Tremblay, and people are just maybe disregarding the 3 sacks allowed, or this could go to Mellett, as he didn't allow a single sack this year with 118 pancakes.
All right, well, let's see who got it. Ladies and gentlemen, your offensive lineman of the year, Adam Mellett. Congratulations.
Deserves this.
All the pancakes.
I love GM. He's my co-GM, and he absolutely deserves this award. He has been working real hard and was kind of in the O-line thing before the big O-line craze started with the new sim. So big shout out to him.
100% the fairest of rubs. All right, moving on forward, we got tight end of the year. Your nominees are Z-Rex, Austin McCormick, James Angler, and Heath Evans. Who's it going to be?
I think the obvious thing that pops out first is Angler has 1,000+ yards plus 8 touchdowns, which might make him the favorite for this award right now.
Angler
Also, none of these tight.
Well.
I'm sorry.
No, so you're good. I was just gonna say pretty much second what Zane said. Angler only has 2 drops and the highest yards, so I think it's kind of his award to lose.
Also, overall, none of these tight ends gave up any sacks this year, so good job to all these guys.
Reeks and Evans both have over 40 pancakes. You're looking at about a 10 to 15 difference from Angler, so it depends if voters took that into consideration too.
Well, let's see if they did. Ladies and gentlemen, your tight end of the year is James Angler. Congratulations.
It's certainly those receiving yards and touchdowns that booted him up there, so congrats to him on that.
I dropped him in fantasy in week 2 because he had a bad performance, and I regretted it.
Shame.
Ooh, that's too bad. You hate to see it. All right, we got your wide receiver of the year nominees: Jed Podolak, William Lim, and Ed Barker. What are we thinking?
Shout out to Podolak.
Yeah, Podolak definitely put the offense on his back for Honolulu this season. And he also does lead this group with 15 touchdowns.
Yeah,
think-
but Lim has 300 more yards on one less catch, so I think that should be considered.
Yep,
Mhm.
I'm with Coach.
Yeah, I
on this
definitely
one.
think it's probably Lim here. He's just insane this year. Colorado's offense was like kind of feeding through him a lot this year.
All right, let's see who got it. Ladies and gentlemen, your wide receiver of the year is William Lim. Congratulations.
Yeah, I mean, those yards were just ridiculous. You know, he had the touchdown numbers to keep beating there as well. So if anyone was going to beat Lim, he would have had to have caught like 6 touchdowns or something, but he didn't. So easy win for him.
Absolutely. Moving right along, we got your running back of the year. Nominees are Raftalia Chan, Tatsu Nakamura, Darrell Williams, and Richard Gilbert. Who we thinking?
So for this award, this is definitely a toss-up between Raftalia Chan and Tatsu Nakamura. Both put up similar stats in regards to yards per carry, with both putting up 5. Both have at least 1,500 yards on the run. Raftalia Chan does have 2 more touchdowns with 17 touchdowns against Tatsu Nakamura's 15 touchdowns. And also, Nakamura did do better in the receiving department, however, did have 1 less touchdown in the air than Raftalia Chan. And if we're going to even get more specific, if you look at their O-line stats, while Raftalia Chan did have 1 less pancake than Nakamura, he did, or she did, I think, have less sacks allowed in the year. So this is definitely a toss-up between both of those guys.
All right, let's see who got it. Ladies and gentlemen, your running back of the year for ISFL Season 27 is Raftalia Chan. Congratulations.
Overall, great season from Raftalia Chan, and as a running back, I am very sad that
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't
overall,
put up the numbers that she did.
yeah, winning the Ultimus and then also taking home this award, Frost is probably pretty happy. Unfortunately for the
Mhm.
rest of the league.
Shout out
Yeah.
to Frost for highest TPE all time.
Oh, that's the thing.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it was the touchdowns at the end of the day that swung it from Nakamura to Chan. So congrats.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving right along, we got your ISFL quarterback of the year. Nominees are Ben Slothsberger, George O'Donnell. I was doing a sloth bit. It didn't.
You're good.
Yeah.
I got
Oh,
it.
I'm sorry. Thought you were
Ben
just dumb and couldn't read it.
Slothsberger, George O'Donnell, Colby Jack, and Mike Bosch Jr. Who are we thinking?
It's gotta
Ben,
be- yeah, it's got to be Sloth.
less than 10 interceptions, 37 touchdowns, 5,000 yards. I mean, the dude was insane. Got them to the Ultimus off of a rough start in NOLA. He just played great.
All right, let's see who it is. Your quarterback of the year in the ISFL for season 27 is Ben Slothsberger. Congratulations, Ben.
Yeah, no real surprises here. He just had an insane season in New Orleans.
Absolutely. Definitely insane. All right, your offensive breakout player of the year. Nominees are Adam Spencer, Raphael Delacour, Z Rex, and Adam Mellett. Who are we thinking?
So it's-
from what sorry, you can go.
Yeah, no, it's hard for people at home looking at this without seeing the stats. So I recommend checking out the forum post. But Delacour last season had 5 receptions for 120 yards. This season, 113 receptions, 1,040 yards, and 5 TDs. Hard to go with anybody else here.
Yeah,
I think you can make an argument for Adam Spencer just going from no touchdowns to 11, even though he didn't have quite the yardage jump, but no touchdowns to 11 is, you know how award voters are with touchdowns.
Yeah,
Also,
and I think Delacour kind of cannibalized Spencer's chances of winning this award just because he had such a big jump from last year to this year. Spencer had a huge jump too, but I just think that Delacour is just he increased by like 900 yards or something like that.
I do want to give a shout out to Melot real quick, because 40 extra pancakes or 50 extra pancakes and no sacks allowed is pretty impressive too.
You love to see it. Fair rubs. All right. Offensive breakout player of the year for ISFL season 27 is Raphael Delacour. Congratulations.
Well deserved. I was going to say that's incredibly impressive.
Absolutely. Moving on, we got your defensive breakout player of the year. Nominees are G-Roy Lankins, Rusty Rucker, Rich Triplett, Brick Van Sanzo, and Raylan Crowder. Who are we thinking?
So I gotta talk real quick about Van Sanzo here. He technically played last season, but accrued no stats, like no tackles, no penalties, nothing like that. So he went from a statistical 0 to having a pretty outstanding season at defensive end. So he would be my pick here.
I was going to say that exact same thing. I'm even on this nomination, but if he played and didn't get a single stat last season, not even a tackle, to go from what he had to what he did this year is a huge improvement.
I was going to say Rich Triplett because he doesn't give himself enough credit.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
All right.
Obviously, I'm a Van Sanzio fanboy just because he's my player. But I got to give a shout out to Rusty Rucker, too. He went from playing like defensive end for Honolulu and not getting very many stats to being one of the best players in the league for Colorado. So,
all right, let's see who got it. Ladies and gentlemen, your defensive breakout player of the year is Rusty Rucker. Congratulations.
Yeah, it's definitely that sack bump up, plus 12 sacks from his season 26 numbers. So overall, great job by him.
Yeah, him and Moose were just the core of that Yeti defense this year.
Alrighty, moving on. Your offensive rookie of the year. Nominees are Charlemagne Cortez, Mario Messi, and Cobra Kai. What are we thinking here, gentlemen?
So Charlemagne Cortez took an Arizona team to the second seed in the ASFC. I was going to say the first seed, but I'm stupid. And unfortunately, they did lose out in the first round, but definitely some great experience from Charlemagne Cortez.
Alrighty, who's it going to be? Your offensive rookie of the year is Charlemagne Cortez. Congratulations.
Mm-hmm. No real shockers there, but shout-outs to Cobra Kai for being a solid running back, too, in Honolulu.
Absolutely. All right. We got your defensive rookie of the year. Nominees are Alejandro Chainbreaker, Vincent Jones Jr., Wasabi Gleal, and Demon Jackson. Who's it going to be?
I'm going to lean Vincent here. He had 7 sacks, which isn't as much as Alejandro Chainbreaker, but did have 11 pass defenses and an interception to add on to that.
True, Chainbreaker did have 12 sacks and a safety at the linebacker position, so that's pretty impressive as well.
All right, let's see who took it home. Ladies and gentlemen, your defensive rookie of the year is Vincent Jones Jr. Congratulations.
That's a great render.
Yeah, he had a solid season. He over doubled the tackles of the other linebacker on this list, and he just was overall real solid.
All right, moving right along, we got our offensive performance of the year. Nominees are Colby Jack from Week 10, Tychondrius Hood from Week 2, Rando Kedrisian from Week 2 as well, Mike Boss Jr. from Week 12, and Captain Rogers from Week 7. Who's going to take it home?
I just want to point out that there are 2 San Jose players in this group, and both of them had just an insane performance in Week 2. With Kedrisian, I think that's how you say it, had over 200 yards, which is practically unheard amongst running backs, and 2 touchdowns, with also Tychondrius Hood getting 3 touchdowns in the same week. So, I mean, it's really a toss-up between those 2, but also shout-outs to Mike Boss Jr. for getting 5 touchdowns in the air.
Absolutely. A lot of really cool stuff happening here. But who is going to take it home? Your offensive performance of the year goes to Tychondrius Hood in Week 2. Congratulations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 3 touchdowns on 5 receptions and 200 yards. That's a Randy Moss stat line right there.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
Absolutely. Good stuff. Congratulations. All right. In the same vein, we have our defensive performance of the year. Your nominees are Patrick Money from Week 12, Joel Drake from Week 9, Rich Triplett from Week 5, Douglas Quaid from Week 5, and Melvin Murdermoose from WEC 11. Who's it going to be?
I don't think I'm going to win this one, but I'm shouting myself on this one because I held Jackson Kingston, our other awards winner, to 3 catches on 12 targets. So,
Hey, not bad.
I did not like that.
Again, maybe I'm a little biased, but I gotta go Murder Moose. There's a little bit of everything in that stat line.
Yeah, I have to agree with Catan here. Just basically one of the games that you'd love to see from a player. What was it? 5 sacks or 3 sacks? I can't read. An interception, a safety, plus like 3 pass deflections. That's a pretty insane game for Murder Moose, and I think he'll take it home here.
Absolutely.
I think Joel Drake is getting slept on a little bit. Did have a defensive touchdown and has the most tackles.
All right. Who did enough to take it home? Ladies and gentlemen, your defensive performance of the year goes to Melvin Murdermoose in Week 11. Congratulations.
Beautiful.
Second piece of hardware for Melvin Murdermoose tonight.
Absolutely. You love to see it. Moving on, we got our general managers of the year. Your nominees are Sidus and Adipax, Z-Wiz and Crunk, Punter 715 and Snarly Dude, Frostbite and Sacrosanct, and finally Bailey and Muford. I think it's Muford. I don't know. Anyways, what are we thinking?
Shout out to Frost for winning the Ultimate Mini in 6 seasons as an expansion team.
Ultimus.
Oh yeah, Ultimus, but yeah, still really impressive to get only 6 seasons.
And with that, I just want to mention, like, shout outs to Sid and Addo, because they turned that Honolulu team around. Because last season, 3-13, bottom of the barrel in the league. But this season, 11-4-1, first seed in the ASFC, rebuilt the locker room culture. And I'm just really proud of those 2 people, and they have built a great team that's going to be a contender in the future.
Absolutely. Love what they did over there. All right. Your general manager of the year for ISFL Season 27 is Frostbite and Sacrosanct. Congratulations, gentlemen.
That makes me a little sad, but that's only because I'm a Honolulu homer. But in any case, shout outs to Frost and Sacrosanct for getting that Ultimus trophy into Sarasota.
Absolutely. You love to see it. Moving right along, we got our offensive player of the year. Nominees are William Lim, Raftalia Chan, Ben Slothesberger, and Tatsu Nakamura. Who's taking it home tonight?
Well, like what I said in the DSFL Offensive Player of the Year, this is probably not going to go to Ben Slothesberger because he is in very much contention for most valuable player this season. So I'm going to go ahead and give this to Raftalia Chan because it seems to me that she had the better performance this season than Nakamura, which you already saw earlier tonight. But overall, in this group, this may go to her.
Yeah, I gotta agree here with Faded here. Just because Chan won the running back of the year, I gotta put him a little bit ahead of Nakamura. And I think Sloth is probably going to win MVP. So, yeah.
All right, let's see who takes it home. Offensive Player of the Year is going to go to Raftalia Chan. Congratulations.
Mm-hmm. Good job, Frost.
Frost doesn't suck.
Frost does not suck, indeed.
That's
job,
false.
Frost.
That's false. Come on.
Alrighty, moving on. We have your Defensive Player of the Year. Nominees are Andrew Witten, KKM, Rusty Rucker, Melvin Murdermoose, and Douglas Quaid. Who's it going to go to?
So knowing the voters' love of defensive points, I think it's probably Murder Moose here with the safety and the defensive touchdown. She definitely leads amongst the other linebackers, and I don't know if KKM or Witten have the stats to compete with her.
I do think it's cool that we have representation from all the defensive groups. You have D-line, linebacker, and secondary. And I said this during the DSFL one, but it's interesting how the voters, compare the stat lines between each of those groups. So I could see it going to really anyone from any of these position groups.
Well, I'm especially rooting for Melvin Murder Moose because it would be really nice to see them get another piece of hardware for this awards session.
That would be really cool. Who's it going to go to? Ladies and gentlemen, your defensive player of the year in the ISFL is Melvin Murder Moose. Congratulations.
I guess that's just a really good way to reflect on how great of a season that they had in this league. So, good job, Melvin Murder Moose.
Absolutely. Big congratulations. All right, we move on to your most dedicated member. Nominees are Infinite MPG, Colt Classic, Caltroit Red Flames, Zoot TX, and Swanty. Who's it going to go to?
There's a lot of great options here. I just want to give a shout out to my boy Zoot. He's been kind of like dominating the budget team recently. Like any transaction that happens, he kind of does in the first few minutes. Plus, he recently became the new Dallas GM, so you can kind of see that he's kind of someone who's rising the league a lot right now, and he's a great user.
Also, shout outs to Infinite for continuing to be one of the great workhorses in this league. Great shining face to see in this league once in a while, and I'm really happy that he keeps working for us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he sucks.
Wolfie-Bot?
Yeah,
Oh,
Wolfie Bot.
wait, what was that? I didn't realize you were in here.
Yeah, he is in here.
I'm always watching.
It's babysitting,
Sounds like
making sure I don't
sounds
mess up
like
the
a-
stream.
I'm frankly scared now.
Right. Also, Wolfie-Bot is phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Just gotta throw that out there. All amazing nominees here, all fantastic users and fantastic people, but the award is going to go to Infinite for most dedicated member. Congratulations.
Reach! Wait, wrong stream.
Yeah, just wait a second.
Well deserved, Infinite.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Congratulations. Thank you for everything you do, and thank you for everything that all of the nominees do. We really appreciate it.
Pretty honored to get a third award for most dedicated member. I do want to shout out all the other people who were nominated for this because they do incredible work. And honestly, I don't deserve a third one. So, you know, go clap it up for those guys.
Yes, let's get those claps in chat. All right, moving right along. Our final award for the evening. The Season 27 ISFL Most Valuable Player. Your nominees are Raftalia-chan, Ben Slothesberger, Melvin Murder Moose, and Tatsu Nakamura. Who's it going to be for one final time?
So for like the fourth time tonight, once again, Raftalia-chan won Offensive Player of the Year. And if she didn't win it and Sloth won it, then I would say she would get it. But because Raftalia-chan got Offensive Player of the Year, this is most likely going to go to Slothesberger. I mean, he just put up the best stats out of this group. And shoutouts to Murder Moose for being a great defensive player, but you got to appreciate how Sloth took that New Orleans team all the way to the Ultimates.
I do want to give a quick shout out to Nakamura here. I know he hasn't won any of the running back awards, so probably won't win this one, but did have less fumbles than Frost did on the season.
Yeah, Frost sucks.
All right, with
But
that.
anyways.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the ISFL Season 27, your most valuable player, your MVP, is Ben Slothesberger. Congratulations, Ben.
Go Sloth.
Shoutouts to Sloth for carrying my fantasy team.
Just
That's
had
all I
one
have
hell of
to
a
say.
season.
Yeah, just had a complete hell of a season. I think that's the first time I've personally seen 5,000 yards out of a quarterback. I don't know about previous seasons, if I just can't remember, but just an insane season from him, and he completely deserves it.
Absolutely. All right. And with that, that is going to wrap it up for our ISFL and DSFL Season 27 award show. Thank you guys so much for, having a great season, for coming and watching. And I'd like to thank this lovely panel of hosts for coming on. Give yourselves a round of applause. Okay, that was good.
That was pathetic.
I'm on push to talk. I only have one hand to clap with.
Just slap your table.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I really appreciate you guys, and yeah, this was good. Again, I want to shout out Connor and Moosey for doing the renders, the graphics for the stream. And yeah, any parting words for the audience before we wrap it up?
I mean, regardless of if you showed up tonight on the stream or not, you had a great season. I mean, this was a very important season in this league. It's a new sim, working out some bugs. But regardless, I'm really happy with the direction this league's going in right now. And we'll just have to wait and see for what the future holds.
Thanks everyone for joining. This was just an insane award show. You know, and Sim Transfer was also kind of insane this season, so I think we did it pretty well. Good way to cap off the season.
Shout out to the draft on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So we got the ISFL draft on Wednesday. So 8 p.m. Eastern time. Make sure you all tune in for that. It's going to be phenomenal.
Yeah, and there you can call yourself a Reach Infinite.
All right, anything else before we wrap it up, boys?
No. See
Cool.
you guys in season 28.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to the award stream for season 27. I've been your host, Whatamus. Thank you again to my panel. And yeah, we'll see you guys next season.
Also, big thanks to Whatamus for hosting. You did an amazing job, and we love your voice.
Oh,
yeah.
You guys
Thank
are too
you
kind.
for blessing us with your voice.
Now I feel weird. Okay.
Clap it for Connor in the chat.
Get out of here. All right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and good night.